Hello everyone, it's Falcon with a update regarding the podcast. I know the spooky podcast was supposed to be for 3 episodes, but unfortunately it seems that we're only going to be able to record 2, and this might be the last Punchcast for a while, as Hamza needs some time off. But with that, enjoy this episode. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Falcon Punchcast. It is me, Mr.FalconPunch, aka Shaheen, back once again with my good co-host, Hamza, aka Darth Messiah.
Hello, I am the Lorraine Warren to Shaheen's Ed Warren.
I have no idea what that reference is to.
It's the couple from The Conjuring, the one that investigates.
Oh, one of the very few horror movies I've seen that I retain no information from.
You didn't like them, or
I saw The Conjuring 2 in theaters against my will.
What about Conjuring 1?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Oh my god!
My friend's just like, don't worry, you could come to Conjuring 2. Conjuring 1 doesn't matter. I'm like, how do you know? You haven't seen Conjuring 2 yet.
I hate it when people do that. I remember our close friend Raheem. He was sitting in the student lounge once, and you would hear two students talking, and they were talking about the One Piece manga. And one guy was saying, "Oh my god, I read it. This new arc is sick." It's like, "Oh, okay," but it's like it's so long though. Like, what's this chapter, like 900 and something? And the other guy's like, "Oh no, it's a new arc. You don't have to read anything else. You can just start here."
What the fuck?
Exactly. Like, that's not how the One Piece does not work like that.
Well, see, people have always been like that with One Piece, because I remember way back when I was getting into One Piece and when I got caught up, it was around the time where they just did like the Whitebeard war thing, like the whole Impel Down saga, all that. Mm-hmm. And that's when a lot of people were hopping on One Piece that weren't already on the hype train. And there was a lot of people being like, "Oh, but it's going to take me forever to get there." It's like, it's okay, just start at Impel Down. I'm like, what? You're going to have no context for anything. Plus, Impel Down doesn't have the rest of the Straw Hat crew. So if you continue on and like you're going to be like, why is Luffy sad? Who is his crew? Who are these people? Why is he crying over them?
Yeah. I remember like me and another friend of mine, Danish, we had arguments about this because he wanted to take another friend of mine to just watch Avengers without seeing any other Marvel movies. It's like, "Oh, come on, it'll be fun. You can do it." I'm like, no, he can't. It's like, he will have no Avengers, like Infinity War, like you will have.
Well, then again, didn't we have a friend that saw Endgame with us that like saw selective amounts of MCU movies?
Oh, we did. Who was that? I don't remember.
I think it was Reem.
Huh? Really?
I don't think she was that like into the MCU, but she saw.
Reem, why'd you waste your time?
I mean, she enjoyed it. Remember, afterwards we talked about it for like 3 hours.
Oh, you did. I remember. I don't remember Reem being there,
bro. Okay,
I remember all the dudes.
I can't wait for her to catch up to the podcast. And then watch this episode. Reem, if you're listening to this particular episode, message Hamza and tell him.
Man, something's been happening to my memory. I'm gonna have Alzheimer's when I'm older because like when I came to America in 2015, I met up with some relatives in New York, and I remember meeting my uncle and aunt. I don't remember their kids at all. Then recently they're like, "Oh, I remember when you met us and the kids." I'm like, I remember you guys. I don't remember the kids at all. It's like, no, they were there. Like, and she showed me pictures. I'm like, I feel like I'm looking at ghosts.
Which is fitting because we're in part 2 of our spooktacular Punchcast, where we're going to do some horror recommendations. I think on the first episode of the spooktacular, or whatever I called it, I think I called it the Spooky Cast. I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks since we recorded the last one.
This is the quality control you get from this show.
Hey, listen, it's been a couple weeks. Let me explain myself. It's been a couple weeks since I recorded the last one, and then last night I was editing a completely different episode where I was talking about the origins of my anime club. So I'm a little mixed up timeline wise and like what we've discussed and have not discussed. So yeah, there's and like I go back and I listen to the whole podcast when I'm editing it. Or at least now I did. I think for the first 3 I did not, but then like afterwards I'm like, what if we say something that's really stupid? Because we're just talking off the cuff. Hamza just won't stop saying slurs sometimes. I gotta.
What slurs do I say?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I curse. I admit that.
I'm just joking. I'm just messing with you.
Just slander over here. My God.
Oh, something spooky. Fake news.
Oh God, we're gonna go down that.
But yeah. So last episode, I think I said I was going to talk about cryptids, but then I was thinking about it. I didn't really have much room for part 3 because as discovered in part 1, Hamza doesn't really have them. I mean, I kind of knew, but I thought he would work with me a bit with the Halloween stuff. But
I listen. I can't make
gave me
something. I can't make something out of nothing, dude. I'm not God. So
you gotta make up a new childhood, Hamza.
Make up a new child. Okay, all right, sure.
You gotta wake up early in the morning, eat a bowl of sugary cereal, turn on Disney, and watch like Halloween Town. Drink some pumpkin spice lattes.
I could get a costume. I could just do that now.
You could, but see, you gotta get in the spirit.
Yeah, I won't have the nostalgia, like because I'll be like looking at it from like an adult brain. Like, okay, this is all right. Sure.
Sometimes I have nostalgia for things that happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I can see that. True.
But also, to be fair to me, I've like for the past couple years, I've moved to like different states. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes I'll be listening to a song and I'm like start getting nostalgic. Like, yeah, I remember riding the bus home and seeing the sunset like in San Diego. And then now years have passed since then. But yeah, anyways, you can always forge new memories, pretend they gaslight yourself into thinking those are childhood memories, and now you're a fellow Halloweenie.
Dude, for me, it's like comic books I read like 5 years ago. I'm like, wait, I remember when I read that as a kid. I'm like, no, you were not a kid.
So you can gaslight yourself like that. So like, start watching some like spooky movies, not complete horror movies, but like, like Halloween Town, The Scary Godmother.
I don't remember The Scary Godmother. I do remember Halloween Town though. Yes.
Okay. Well, scary. I mean,
honestly, it's not a whole franchise, isn't it? If I remember.
Yeah, Halloween Town. I mean, the first one's the best one. I'm surprised they haven't not that I'd necessarily want to, but I'm surprised they haven't remade it yet. Considering what Disney, I don't even think does like.
They made a sequel to Hocus Pocus, so like, I mean,
yeah,
probably
true. Like,
Halloween
Hocus Pocus,
Town.
I think, was like on a different level.
Yeah, so like I think like it's time. Like, listen, they're gonna run out of making live action remakes eventually. They're gonna
need to bring back the Disney Channel original movies, but like the spooky ones. Like I forgot there was this one about a mummy. There's another one about like eating a can of worms and it's like aliens.
What?
Yeah,
I don't remember this at all. What the fuck? I thought you meant like
this is why you gotta
Disney
go back in
animated
time.
sequels.
You gotta go back in time and watch all these movies. You have Disney Plus. Go like type in.
I thought you meant like the Disney like sequel straight to DVD.
No, I'm talking about like actual Disney Channel original movies.
Oh right, okay. So like the Kim Possible movies. Got it. Okay.
No, I mean kind of, but like Halloween Town.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. Or what's that other one? Descendants? Oh, what is that called?
Yeah, I guess. The one where it's like the descendants of like Disney antagonists.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's like honestly a good idea. I'm just not interested in it, but like I don't fault them for that. Like that's honestly, I guess, a pretty cool idea for like where you're trying to market to.
There was a grown woman once who like stated that Descendants was her favorite movie online.
I see. I'm surprised, if Disney got into gacha games, that could have been like a thing.
Oh my God!
I'm making ideas for Disney.
Don't give them ideas. They're probably
Disney hire me.
I mean, they've already made their own card game to compete with Magic the Gathering, Lorcana.
Really?
Which I've heard is, yeah. Oh, you haven't heard of this? I thought you knew.
That's the spookiest thing of them all.
It's called Lorcana, and I'm
like, keep on saying that.
I'm like, okay, like how much are they gonna like fuck over the customer base. Like, oh, you want to get this rare card? Oh, we're barely going to reprint it, so we can artificially keep up the fucking price.
It's going into the Disney vault.
I mean, there's Disney Plus now, so I don't think the vault is even a thing anymore. We have access to the vault now.
Yeah, but apparently, like my mom was telling me, because we have a lot of old like VHSs, like the clamp boxes.
Oh yeah, no, that I remember back in the day. Like, yeah, there was like in and out of the vault, and you had to get the physical.
But apparently those still sell for like a lot of money. My mom's like, maybe I could sell some of them. Because at first my mom's like, oh, I'm going to keep them for your kids. But then my mom's like, yeah, where are you going to get a VCR?
But I've heard about this, that like VCR is weirdly becoming popular again.
Well, because like there's a lot of people that like going back and having like video, like even like CRTVs. A lot of people prefer playing video games on them. So there are some people that still make or refurbish like old school TVs because like for certain video games, it's like the optimal way of playing them.
Okay, all right. I'm a
because if you play like a old school game on like a modern TV, it's so big and wide, it's going to like ruin the aspect ratio and all that. So
yeah. I'm not that. I'm like, no, give me the latest and best tech, like for me to experience this. So I'm like,
I'm just for the convenience, the going through a bunch of different wires and all that shit. And having
oh my god! Like, remember wires? Oh.
I mean, we're going to be living in that future eventually. Like, remember when you actually had to pick up the phone?
Dude, it's already happening. Like, we went to like an Airbnb in Dubai, like back, like for a vacation once, and my dad was flipping through channels on the TV, and I'm like, I don't remember the last time I flipped through channels. Like, I was like really thinking back, like, because like I was looking at my dad, I'm like, what is my dad doing? Like, I thought he was gonna like, okay, pick streaming service, like no, it's like going through actual TV channels, and I'm like,
yeah, I only do that when I go to a hotel, and then I'm like, wow, we used to live like this. I have to watch a show in the middle of like wherever it's on because I didn't.
Yeah, you have to plan your life around it.
Yeah, and then like as soon as it starts getting good, a commercial comes on. I see a bunch of advertisements that are annoying, and more annoying for me because I've done marketing classes. So like all the bullshit, because like in marketing class, it's like, go make a commercial or like pretend you made a commercial, and then we have to make like 1,000-word essay and like why we do everything in that commercial. But then you watch most of the commercials on TV and it's like a bunch of nonsense, or like I bet they didn't have to write like why the Jamaican guy is milking Skittles out of a giraffe. I bet there wasn't a mood board for that fucking nonsense.
Don't you love?
And they got paid money for it.
Don't you love your education? Yeah.
Dude, I hold my postgraduate degree with pride. I sleep next to it every night. It's come so much handy for me. I'm a CEO now.
Oh god! All right, so what are we doing today?
Yeah, so we're like I can't remember if I said what the point of the podcast
I don't think you did. I think you were like you said what you wanted it to be, but I don't think you got to the point what this is.
Yes, so we're going to do some.
This is the quality control you have here, folks. Yeah.
This is not even quality control. This is happening right now.
Imagine if you paid for this.
Oh, dude, don't you know we have ad reads and stuff? No.
oh no, we don't. We don't. Well, not
I can't wait for ad reads. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to do some spooky recommendations. Originally, we're going to talk about cryptids, but I was thinking about it since this is part 2. By the time we do part 3, it's going to be close to Halloween, which was originally when we were going to do the spooky recommendations. But then I was like thinking about it. I'm like, it wouldn't make too much sense to put recommendations when you only have like 2 more days until Halloween and then all the hype's gone. So why now in the middle of October, so you have enough time to like kind of experience some of the things we're going to recommend today. So Hamza, do you got any little spooky recommendations to share for joyful listeners?
I do. So I'm going to mainly be doing like movies and stuff. Shaheen's going to give you the more like, weeb shit, because that's what he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more cultured now. because like I actually like horror.
All right, listen, I got like a TV show people could watch.
Yeah, I'm joking, but like yeah, like I'll be mainly doing movies, but I'm gonna try my best to like recommend you movies you probably may not have heard of, right? Nothing super like cult like, because like I'm pretty sure everybody's told you to like watch The Conjuring, or like watch The Shining, or like I don't know, Hellblazer, Nightmare on Elm Street, Silence of the
Wait,
Lambs.
isn't it Hellraiser?
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking about John Constantine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, wait.
Yeah, Hellraiser, my bad. Fun fact, the comic was supposed to be called Hellraiser, but the movie beat them to it, so they just made it Blazer.
I mean, I think that makes a little bit more sense, but Blazer does sound kind of cool.
Yeah, but like it does, like because like people ask him like why Hellblazer, he's like that's the reason. Hellblazer itself doesn't mean anything. We actually wanted to call it Hellraiser.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to recommend movies that are like a little bit more obscure, not super obscure. I'm not like a I don't know, a cinephile movie savant. I'm just a regular guy that just likes horror.
You're gonna recommend some Italian horror movies from the 70s.
I have seen Suspiria. So like that's
okay. There you go.
Yeah, but I don't recommend it. I like it. It's a very moody film. It like puts you in an atmosphere, but it's not necessarily scary. The colors are obviously beautiful because like Italians go crazy with the lighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I've heard some people recommend me that, even though I'm like, why you? I don't even watch horror to begin with, or movies. But yeah,
look at this plebe over here. Like, unless it has a Japanese thing in it.
Okay. Listen, it's not like that.
All right, so I'm going to recommend what is my favorite horror movie of all time. I've seen this movie. I can't stop thinking about this movie, and I really badly want to watch this again. And I am so annoyed that this is this guy's first ever movie he's ever made, like the director's first ever movie, and he's like already made a masterpiece. It's so I'm like, fuck you. It's just I'm so annoyed. Like this is this guy's first movie, and he's already knocked it out of the park. I don't like a second movie though. Second movie, I'm like, but like this first movie.
Oh, okay,
like,
so like, yeah, okay, the fuck you probably wasn't warranted. Like, lucky first time.
How many artists can claim in the world like, the very first thing I made is just perfection? Like it's like right. So it's called Hereditary.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah. So Hereditary, it has a lot of horrific things about like mental health, and because a lot of mental health is like genetic, it's like so it can be passed on from generation to generation, and this movie plays with that idea. The first half of the movie honestly just plays like a straight up like drama, like not even a horror, like just a drama where like this family is just going through like problems and shit, and like it eventually just does take a turn to the more like supernatural horrific stuff. But for the first half, like unless I told you it was a horror movie, you would never guess it's horror. And it plays with those themes, and it's like so well done, and like it just ramps up and gets crazier and crazier, and like the mystery build up is so intriguing and satisfying. And when you watch it back, you can see like hints like, oh my god, this was a mystery from the beginning. Like this family was going to be tortured no matter what. It's directed by Ari Aster. Like again, this guy's first movie, and like, goddamn, like I don't know, like.
Oh yeah, didn't they have like a new movie that just came out?
Midsommar.
No, there was another one like Belle Was Afraid or something like that. It's with.
I don't know. There's a third. I got to look that up then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it really was like terrifying and scary to me. Like the themes they like play with, because like a cult gets involved, and like there's just like this this family just like going through horrific things and like breaking apart. Like it's so good. It's my favorite horror movie of all time. Nothing has scared me more than this movie. So like Hereditary is like my pick. If you've not seen it, go watch it. I'm not a fan of his second movie, Midsommar. Maybe it might be your thing. I don't know, because it deals with like drugs and psychedelics and someone who's not taken that, like, it was very hard to me to relate to. But this one who's dealt with, like, because everybody has dealt with, like, family problems and I'm pretty sure mental health to an extent. So it's very relatable, and that makes it more scary. Like, oh my God, like, it gets fantastical. So at that point, it does become relatable. It just becomes like straight up horror. But like the first half of the movie, it's just like it draws you in because, like, oh my God, this could happen to me. So, like, yeah. Hereditary, check it out.
All right. I probably will not, but everyone else can.
Well, you should. You know what? If you ever share a Halloween together, I'm gonna make you watch it.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I just wanted to watch, like, trying to think of like a kid's family Halloween movie.
I just wanted to watch Halloween Town.
I was going to say that, but I mentioned it a lot in the beginning. I'm like,
okay.
Well, I don't make that seem like it's the only one I watch. I just want to watch Goosebumps with my.
Oh yeah, right, true. Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to rewatch some episodes during Halloween.
What about Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That one I don't have as much memories for. I didn't catch either when they first came out, Goosebumps, because like when I was in middle school, for some reason, Cartoon Network is like, hey, we're just going to show Goosebumps. But then later on, there was another show like kind of like that called The Haunting Hour, which was kind of like Goosebumps, but like a little bit more mature. And there's like a couple episodes where like the kids just like straight up die or suffer a really bad fate. So it's a bit darker. Even though it was called The Haunting Hour, but it was still like 30 minutes. But some pretty creepy episodes. That if you haven't seen that one, I would kind of recommend that.
What about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? It's got made into a movie now, but it was a book series. If I'm not mistaken.
I only watched the movie. I've never seen anything else for it.
Oh, you watched the movie? Okay.
Yeah, my brothers really wanted to see it. And I figured, I'm like, oh, it's a PG-13 horror movie. It's not going to be that bad.
It's so weird that like you're like a Junji Ito, give it to me. 13, give it like the more fucked up manga.
13's not that scary. It's more just fucked up and bizarre.
Okay, like Drifting Classroom, give it to me. Like I don't know why. Like
see, like Kazuo Mezu, I don't think is like that scary. Really, I feel he draws horrific things, and like. But like I've never felt like as I don't know, maybe it's because of the medium of manga, it's a bit easier for me to digest because I don't have to worry about like a sound effect coming up and like spooking me or something like that. I guess I don't know, horror through like a audio visual medium I think is maybe. And I guess with a horror I could kind of take things at my own pace, whereas a movie, like if the movie wants to scare me, it's going to scare me right now. When I'm not suspecting it. Whereas the manga, I'm like, oh, this page looks like it's going to be scary. I'm just going to like slowly turn it's scary. Not that I do that, but yeah, it's a possibility. So I don't know. But very few manga have actually like really creeped me out. I'm just more like, oh, that looks sick. Which is weird because then like some of my scariest manga panels, which I think we talked about in the previous episode, or for like non-horror series that just kind of disturb me or kind of like like
so like that's why it's like I don't know, like you're so open to horror in like book form that like so like, I mean that's probably why. So I just find it interesting, like book form, movie form, or maybe even TV form, nah.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't know. I'm like I like horror vibes. I'm not a horror fan. I'm like the horror vibe person.
Person. It's like, I like the idea of a roller coaster. I like the vibe of a roller coaster.
I like the idea of being scared, but I don't like actually being scared.
I mean, that's what a horror movie is. Nothing's happening to you. So like,
yeah, but it's going to harm my dude. It's going to fuck me up when I go to sleep. When the moment I close my eyes, whatever is like was the antagonist of that horror film, I'm going to pictures like stabbing me through my my pillow.
But do you like then like because like it has practical stuff and monsters in it, so like Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think I said it in another podcast, but I did see the first ever Hellraiser. Mm-hmm. I saw it when I was younger because I remember like I think it was like 13. I'm like, you know what? I think I can handle horror movies. And I'm going to watch a rated R horror movie without telling my mom. I'm not old enough to see this film. And it was like playing on TV, so I watched it, and I was feeling really cool. And I didn't really get it, but some of the parts were kind of horrific. And I'm like, oh, but like it's kind of cool though. And then it ended. I'm like, you know what? That wasn't even that scary. And then I walked into my parents watching like the newest Saw film at the time. I'm like, oh fuck. So,
I recently watched all the Saw movies.
oh god,
yeah, yeah, not as torture porny as I thought it would be.
I very vividly remember like some of the scenes. I'm like, oh god, how did they watch this? And then I went upstairs to go watch SpongeBob.
Okay. Right. Okay, so what is your recommendation? You'd be like, I think install this too long.
Yeah, okay, so getting into, I mean, I guess we could go one by one because I have quite a bit for anime.
Mm-hmm.
Anime, I do definitely 100% recommend Gegege no Kitaro if anyone has not partaken in the anime franchise. It's a very influential and popular series in Japan.
And who just, because it's a whole friend, can you just watch this and not watch anything else? Or like you should like experience the franchise as a whole or something?
Well, see, the thing is, the franchise has had many animes over the year. A lot of them are not fully translated.
Okay.
The two that like are fully translated, they can watch. I would recommend watching both because they offer different things. You got Hakaba Kintaro, which I think came out around like 2010 or something like that. But it's like a 12-episode series that kind of goes over the origins of Kitaro, which is a really fun one. Very addicting opening and ending song. And then you got the newer one, the 2018 Kitaro, which that one is kind of like a modern reboot of the whole series. You get a bit of his backstory, but it's more of just him going against other yokai. Mixture of action. It's like it's more like shonen-esque in a sense, where he, every episode fights against a different yokai. Sometimes there's some story arcs that are pretty interesting. But the main star of the show is learning about other yokai, because I think yokai mythology is very interesting because it's like so vast and different than like other mythologies you see.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that, and then Kitaro himself is like a weird character in terms of abilities because he could shoot like a spirit gun, but he also has like hair that he could shoot like needles. He could do like electric shocks from himself, like kind of like Pikachu, and then his cloth
very random.
Yeah, he has like a very like assortment of abilities that he just cycles through. It's kind of like, I don't know the rhyme or reason because he's like a ghost kid in a sense, but it's a good time. And then like in the 2018 series, there's like some really good social commentary things that go on in Japan. Everything from like dealing with vloggers to like the beauty standards the Japanese high schoolers go through, or like being overworked. A lot of really good bangers of episodes. Some pretty dark, fucked up ones too. But it's a good series. Pretty long too, so it'll last you a while. But yeah, Gitaro as a whole, I would highly recommend.
I've heard some episodes about this. Some YouTuber, something Ninja was his name. I forgot.
Gaijin Goomba.
Gaijin Goomba. Wait, how did I get Ninja?
Because he has that like video series, like I forgot what it's actually called, but he like rates how ninja is in media.
Yeah, because he talked about some episodes, and I was like very interested. Like I'm like, I'm interested in the social like commentary of it, like the one about like the idol girl, who it's like she's so obsessed with being the cutest thing ever that she goes insane. Oh god damn! Why is the series rated so low? Like it's got like a 6 out of 10 on.
A lot of people were pissed off at it when it first came out because it was the anime that replaced Dragon Ball Super's time slot.
Wow, really? Oh, Dragon Ball fans.
Yeah, so they're like, you replaced our mid with a good show. Fuck you. So, yeah.
Okay, that is so. All right.
And also, like, I think that many people, because like it's kind of episodic. I mean, there are story arcs later, but and it is inherently a bit goofy because like our cool protagonist is like this little guy with a creepy face that has all these random powers that don't really correlate with each other, and he fights yokai that occasionally look equally as goofy. I mean, like his friends, he has like the cat girl who has like a random redesign every adaptation. Then you got like a guy that's literally a giant wall, and then two old people, and then his dad who's like an eyeball. So
Okay.
I guess it's the cast is not as cool as what fans at the time were looking for, but I think if you have Crunchyroll, you could watch the whole thing on Crunchyroll. So that's cool for like the 2018 series. And I think we're getting a movie soon, so it's definitely good to get on the Kitaro hype train. Kitaro as a series and its creator, whose name is escaping me right. Oh, Shigeru Mizuki. Both very popular in Japan. Like at the time, like when it first came out, it was like the most popular thing in Japan. And I think I've heard this was the first series to actually properly utilize yokai and manga, which now we have so many yokai manga, and this was kind of like the progenitor of it all. Because apparently,
I thought it was Yokai Watch, to be honest with you.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, I was going to be like, no fucking way. Okay.
That was a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. How mad would you be if I was like...
Well, see, I was just more like shocked. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I thought I've taught you better, Hamza. I thought I've led you into...
I failed you.
I failed you. I'm sorry. This is on me.
Interesting. So, Gitaro is your...
For anime, yes. I mean, I had a couple other anime ones, but I'm not sure how much. If you have another movie,
I'm gonna do two because like I don't have much to say about them, but they are really good movies. They're more on the action side, but it's like if I had to like, because horror has a lot of like, it's kind of like heavy metal. There's so many subgenres, so I'm gonna give you two like survival horror movies. Right, so survival horror is basically anything where like it's usually someone is trapped in a house and there's like people invading, and like you got to defend it and stuff, right?
Okay.
And stuff, or you're being chased by something and you got to like survive and stuff. Like usually in one location, right? So I'm gonna give you Your Next and Ready or Not. So Your Next is about this girl. She's going to see her in-laws and stuff, and while they're at this like big fancy house with a party or something, these group of like crazed like robbers and serial killers break in and start like killing everybody. But then the main girl that we follow turns out is like a survivalist badass, so she starts killing all the bad guys that are like invading this house and trying to protect her family, and like you get some really cool gruesome kills, and it comes out of nowhere because you just think like, oh, this is just like a regular normal girl, but then like no, they get into like her like backstory, like oh no, she's like this like hardcore survivalist like person, so she knows how to like take care of herself and stuff, like oh wow, so that's pretty cool. So it's a bit, like I said, it's more on the action side, but it does fall under survival horror. The other one is Ready or Not. Ready or Not is about this woman who's going to get married to this guy, but there's one catch. She's going to marry into a very rich family. She's like a very normal girl, but she's going to get married into this very rich family. This family is a very fucked up tradition where like on the night before the wedding, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't remember the premise fully, but it's like basically before they allow, her to get married, she has to survive one night up until like I think midnight or dawn, while the rich family's hunting her. Like arrows, crossbows, guns, and she just has to survive the night, otherwise she can't marry into the family.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember seeing trailers for this movie.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
like,
that one sounded familiar.
So, like, Ready or Not, again, like survival, like this girl is being chased by like crazy rich people, and again, it's like it's come out during that time where a lot of movies were coming out about like rich people just being like out of
evil.
touch, crazy, and like completely lost their humanity because they have just like so much wealth. They have no idea what like being a regular person that's struggling is. So
I mean,
yeah,
look at the world we live in today.
yeah. So like yeah, so those are my two recommendations. You're next, and Ready or Not. Like you're gonna have a good time. Again, it's more on the survival horror side.
All right, nice
Yeah.
survival horror. The only survival horror I know is Resident Evil.
That's zombie horror, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still a survival horror game.
Oh, yeah,
The first one, you have to be in a mansion, and you have like limited supplies.
True. Yeah. I so man, horror video games is something I really want to dive into because I'm like, it's perfect. Like you're actually participating in the story. Like it's
because like you have a Switch. I think most of the Resident Evil games are on Switch. I mean, probably not in like
not the
greatest
remake,
versions.
Yeah.
Well, not like the newest remake, but I think you get all of them up to like 8 on Switch. But like, I mean, 8 probably doesn't run that well on a Switch. So.
Switch, yeah.
But like the first, handful would probably be good, and then Resident Evil 4 you could practically play on anything.
Oh yeah, that's the one with
the
one with the blonde guy, right? I forgot the name.
Yeah, Leon.
Leon, right? The one
that's like my dad's favorite video game. To him, that game is a masterpiece. And my dad doesn't play that many video games, but I remember because he loves playing Resident Evil, he kind of plays it to relax, and he's only really ever played 4 and 5. He does not like anything beyond those two. And I remember when the remake came out, I'm like, I got it for him as a gift, and he's just like, "How dare they remake this masterpiece?" And he hated the remake. Like,
really? I thought it was. Like,
he was like, the original was perfection. There was nothing to remake.
But like, isn't it the same game? Just
my
like
dad's just one of those guys.
I'm pretty sure because all of them have been like, okay, the 8-bit to like 3D, like I get it, okay, there's a drastic changes, but it's trying to keep the spirit of like the first game. But like 4 was already 3D, so it's just like, okay, we'll just update the graphics a bit, maybe tighten the control.
I mean, there's little things they changed, so I think that just kind of bothered my dad. There's like a couple sections that were completely taken out, like some of the more campier things from Resident Evil 4 were taken out.
Okay.
Like there's this like one scene where like this giant statue's chasing you, and that got completely cut from the remake.
Okay, I was gonna say you don't have to be a snob to like, I don't know, be like really picky about video games. I guess.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, video game criticisms just can get pretty. I mean, really, with any fandom, like I've seen toku criticism, anime criticism, manga, comic. They're all. I can't really say which is the worst. They're all pretty equally bad. I know we personally talk about the comic ones the most.
Yeah.
But like on the tokusatsu side, and movie side and all that, there's pretty bad, brain dead takes that people make. And especially in video games too. Like you'd be convinced most video game people don't actually like video games at times.
Yeah. Okay, I see. All right. So, what is your recommendation, though?
Because I actually wrote down my list. So see, there is some quality control. So like, let me open up my list. For some reason, my sushi order just came out. Let me scrolling through. Okay, so for anime, let's see. I'm not sure if I want to keep on going through my anime list because, I mean, of course, you have your standard spooky anime that most people would say to watch around this time. You got like Soul Eater, a classic most people kind of recommend. I mean, it's not like super scary, but it has those spooky vibes, with Soul Eater. And then you got like actual horror anime like Another or Shiki. I guess
I loved Another. I know people like make fun of that a lot, like they meme a lot of the deaths, but like I genuinely enjoyed that as like a straight up horror show.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say. I know there's Paranoia Agent, which I haven't watched myself, but yes, I know we actually watched the first episode of my anime club, but I couldn't enjoy the first episode because I would ask my members when we used to watch like anime episodes in the club, like during our meetings. I would ask them like, "Oh, you could give me some recommendations. I'll bring them to class, and we could vote on like what episodes to bring." And so one of them was like, "Yeah, bring Paranoia Agent." But then it was at a university, so the general rule is don't show something you wouldn't want your parents to see. And in the middle of watching it, he was just like, "Oh yeah, I think in the first episode there might be a pair of tits." And I'm like, So I had to like sit by the computer and like kind of like use my spider sense to detect when a scene of like some tits were going to pop up. So like I didn't get in trouble. So I'm like shit. So I couldn't really enjoy the first episode because my hand was just above the mouse sweating, waiting for some boobs to drop, which I don't even think they did.
Shiki is the vampire one, right?
Yeah, Shiki's a vampire one, which I also haven't seen, but I've been meaning to see.
I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for like short horror animes at one point in time, and it's very slow. It takes them so long to realize what's happening. The characters I didn't really give a shit about. So like, I mean, for me, it might work for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it's a slow burn.
Yeah, it's but like I like slow burns, like, but like this one is like, it's too slow in my opinion.
Yeah, when it comes to vampires and anime, I just go with Hellsing.
I mean, it has horror vibes, but
see, it's for me.
It's come to the point where I remember the abridged more than the actual show.
Oh, really? I don't think I actually ever saw the abridged.
Oh, it's so
which
good.
I know a lot of people recommend because like they're like, oh, it's actually better than Dragon Ball abridged.
Yeah, it is honestly like, yeah.
Yeah, I who knows? Because like this Halloween, there's like, oh, maybe I might want to rewatch some stuff like Over the Garden Wall, which if you haven't seen that, it's a cartoon series, but I mean, it's not really. It's more like fall vibes in general, not really Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
But October is part of fall, so
yeah. But it has that spooky feel to it. Yeah,
it does. But like, also, I feel like a lot of the aesthetic is like general fall, not strictly grounded to like October as a month. But yeah, like that Hellsing, maybe Blade, because those first two Blade movies kicked ass, and I don't know what the fuck Marvel's going to do.
I really like. I recently rewatched those two. They do hold up. Like obviously, like certain special effects over here and there don't. Some of the fight scenes kind of look silly in retrospect, but I still love it. Like the final fight scene with Deacon Frost is just like swords click clacking. It's like there's no real choreography. It's like ting 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 ting, like as much as possible. Okay, all right. But
that opening scene to the first movie, is
no. Like I said, there's some scenes that are cool, some scenes that are not. But like, but it is still a fun ride. I still recommend it. And that immortal line: "Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill." Which, like, who does that?
Yeah, like that line makes zero fucking sense, but it's so fucking cool. But only he could say it.
Yeah.
If some random guy told me that, I'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Apparently, do you know the story behind that line?
No, I don't.
Apparently, Wesley Snipes just said that, like it wasn't in the script. Like he just said that in conversation with the director at some point, like offset or somewhere. He's like, "Ooh, put that line in the script. We're going to use that line." Like, and so like on the day of shooting, he's like, say the line. Like, some motherfuckers.
Say the line. Yeah, those two movies are good. I mean, like, I like Mahershala Ali, but I don't.
God knows if he's even going to like be.
That's
great.
true.
Yes,
because like the thing is, he's a great actor. I can't picture him being tied down to the MCU because like I'm pretty sure they're not going to have just one Blade movie and leave. I'm pretty sure there's a contract where like, yeah, you have to show up in Avengers and you have to show up in whatever else we do and maybe a TV series. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think he's sticking around for that one.
Yeah, I don't like it like from a very this is going to be a very nerdy comic book perspective. He already played a character in Luke Cage, so like, how do you justify these two dudes looking the same?
The multiverse.
So Blade takes place in a separate universe. I mean, okay, it's fine. Or Luke Cage takes place in a separate universe, like one of the two, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know, but then Daredevil showed up and She-Hulk. But
yeah,
he's wearing the yellow outfit, so like it could be I don't know.
Yeah,
Marvel's kind of shooting themselves in the.
Did the yellow outfit look ugly to you?
I've only seen screenshots. I'm like, oh,
same.
It's not a good look.
Yeah,
like I get it's the classic costume, but occasionally the classic.
Well, like,
costume.
Even the classic costume, there's some element of like
I don't know. I've never liked the yellow one. I'm just like,
I know. The red one beats the yellow one, but like I don't know. There's still I don't know. The yellow one like at least looks somewhat pleasing. This one just like ugh.
I don't know. He always looks like he's like candy or something. I don't know. Why you give me like candy vibes? Like I don't really get a devil vibe from this.
Not even after Daredevil Yellow, like the one you.
I haven't read that one yet.
I haven't read that one yet. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've only read Spider-Man Blue and Hulk Gray.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have. But then again, it's like probably one of those things with comic books where I'm like, this sucks, and I read it, and I'm like, all right, I see you. But yeah, so with anime, there's that. I guess the only other horror anime that's like niche that I could kind of recommend is, man, I'm really not setting a good case for myself. It's also kind of for the kids. I promise when I talk about manga, there'll be actual things for adults, but Digimon Ghost Game is a pretty fun horror-esque series.
Yeah.
Like there's some pretty terrifying episodes. There's a couple episodes where people just straight up die.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to finish the old Digimon series. I know it's like standalone. You can like watch it like by itself. You don't need to know anything about Digimon, but like still, like I want to finish like the classic ones first before diving into
like Adventure Tamers, I would definitely recommend you to watch.
Yeah.
I know there's like Savers and Frontiers, but I never saw those. And there's also Applemon, which was like a spin-off for like app monsters.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that so much. Okay, fine.
No one liked them. And then I only watched like a bit of that anime, and then I forgot about it. And then every now and then when I go on like my anime list, it'll be like, oh, hey, Applemon. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing that existed. And then I think they just dropped. But yeah, Digimon Ghost Game is a pretty good one. And then all the partner Digimon in that main trio, Angoramon, Jillymon, and Gammamon, who's like my special little boy. All those are pretty top tier. Love them all. But I'm hoping, because that one they kind of open up and might get a sequel, so who knows, maybe hop on that before the sequel comes out with like Ghost Game 2.
Gammamon, this Triceratops looking motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah, and he has like bat wings for some reason, but I just love him. He just wants to eat chocolate and be happy.
All right. Okay, so that's your recommendation.
For anime. Then I got manga. Manga, this is what, we put on the big boy pants, we leave Halloween Town, I'm in Elm Street now.
All right, let's go. What's your first manga recommendation?
Well, obviously, let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Okay. Obviously, have all the Junji Ito stuff, which now most of it you can actually read on the Viz app. So if you have that available, go check them out.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, good amount of Junji Ito. And then you got also Kazuo Umezu stuff. So you got like Drifting Classroom, Cat Eye Boy, which we talked about in a previous podcast.
They recently came out with a perfect edition for it.
Is it actually like or is it like...
No, it's the word.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wasn't sure if they made the pun or not.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you did listen to my previous recommendations and you checked out Giga Gitaro, then definitely check out Cat Eye Boy, because it's kind of like Kazuo Umezu's version of that. But like still with his like weird sense of humor and horror. Which is pretty fun. It's like 12 chapters. I mean, they vary in length with the chapters. You'll go for one chapter that's like 60 pages and another one that's like 128. But yeah, it's a fun little read. But yeah, most like you can get a good bit of a Mezu on the Viz app, but unfortunately you can't read 14 because 14 was never published in English. But it's not even a scary ride. It's just a bizarre trip. It's so surreal. It starts off like 14, this manga. I did a video on it, but then YouTube took it down because Kodansha manually took it down.
What is that? Like, you're getting free advertising? And
it's always Kodansha. Kodansha always comes after my ass. Like, I remember, I think like they also like made me like they took down my Jagan video. And like a couple other manga videos. I'm like, great, that's probably the only time I'm going to be talking about those. Oh, I now have the podcast, so I can talk about them more. But like my actual YouTube channel. But yeah, 14, it's a trip. It starts off as this guy who gets like, because it takes place in this like far off future in America where like humanity has just like really depleted all the natural resources, so all their meat is like processed in the factory. And this one guy that works in the factory realizes that one of the chicken, like synthetic chicken breasts, has an eye. So he takes it home to like experiment on it, but like it starts growing and growing and until it turns into like this weird chicken man. And he decides to name himself Chicken George. And he escapes, and then all that, while it sounds goofy, the way it's presented in the manga is very engaging and horrifying. But then once Chicken George escapes, shit just gets absolutely bonkers. Once he leaves, he goes to a zoo, and all the animals in the zoo are all fucked up creatures because, like, we pretty much eliminated any previous animal we had. So Chicken George is like, I realize I am like the avatar for nature, and I'm going to be animals' vengeance against humans. I'm going to like wipe them out. So he becomes like a mad scientist, and he's like ready to go kill all humans. And he has a sidekick named Chicken Lucy, who's just like a chicken that could talk to him. And then things get bizarre. He makes like a dinosaur spaceship. He abducts kids. The plants come to life, and they're like, oh, we also want revenge too, but also fuck animals. Then Chicken George falls in love with a human woman. Then rape aliens come down, and they start raping a bunch of humans and killing them. And then the president of the United States is like, fuck it. Life sucks. Everyone go get high. And then they start shooting kids up in space to do some space colony, but there's like some evil adults up there, so they have to go. We have like little like 5-year-olds fighting adults with like ray guns, and then there's like cockroaches that start getting. It's a whole deal. It's just re-explaining it. There's so many just baffling moments. One of my favorite is like when Chicken George goes up to a council of humans, and it's like, humans are the most violent creatures on Earth, and I've deduced why. It's because humans descended from dinosaurs. I'm like, Chicken George, you're
that sort of correct.
You're like a professor, and also you're a chicken. A chicken is the closest thing related to a T-Rex, which he uses in his argument that humans descended from T-Rex, one of the most violent creatures on Earth. And I'm like, chicken, you do realize you're a chicken. You're more closely related to a T-Rex than an actual human.
Wait, but like the bird thing was something they found out much later, right? Like, yeah, so like. Yeah. When did they discover, like, okay, like, actually, no, birds are, like, the closest?
True, I guess in retrospect, but still, like, I don't think there was ever science that came out where we're just like, yeah, humans came from dinosaurs. I don't think we ever thought
that never happened, yeah.
that never happened in history.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, okay. All right, so, like, these are the obvious ones you're eliminating.
Well, I mean, kind of. Then we just kind of went to Kazuo and Mezu.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then you also, of course, you got Devilman, Stone Cold Classic. Gotta read it. I have those two classic collection volumes. I can't wait to reread those.
I hate that they're not available digitally. I would have bought those.
Bro, they look so sexy though when they're sitting on your shelf.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
Just have 2 volumes of manga with you. And they're heavy enough, you could sleep on them. You make multi-use out of them. Lift them up like weights. Get a little creative with it.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking at, like, is it available maybe now? And like, it turns out Cowgirl Girl Caramelized is going to get Volume 7 in February.
Ah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just like that randomly happened. My bad. I just couldn't
Well, I mean, I would definitely. I have recommended that manga. But if you haven't, I also recommend that. Even though, I mean, it's not really that spooky, but it does have a girl who turns into a kaiju.
Yeah, this is not the horror recommendation. It's just like a book we like that we are like wondering, like, where's the next volume? And it's like, okay, it's coming out.
Yeah, but then
and it's yen press, so they're not going to come after you.
True. Another one I would definitely recommend manga-wise is Frankenfran, which I haven't read in a while.
I really need to read that. It's on my list of things, yes.
Yeah, that's like... See, there's always like, oh, let me give an elevator pitch for this series. And then I realize my elevator pitch will not make sense to most manga fans. Because I'm like, yeah, Frankenfran is like Blackjack, but fucked up. But then like most people don't know Blackjack.
Know what Blackjack is.
So that makes no fucking sense. But yeah, basically Frankenfran, like it, very quick plot summary. It follows this girl named Fran who's like this mad scientist doctor that's like, oh, if you come to her, she'll fix you like your problems by giving you surgery. But it's always like a monkey's palm situation where she'll just make you look like a fucked up monster. There was like this ongoing arc of people coming to her being like, turn me into a common rider. She does, but causes a lot of issues.
Oh, there's Toku references in that?
Yeah. And when I read this series, it was like really early into me like reading manga.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what the fuck Kamen Rider was. And like the translator knows like, oh, this is a reference to Kamen Rider. I'm like, what's Kamen Rider? And then like 4 years later, I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. But yeah, I think actually maybe like my first ever like association to Kamen Rider was through that manga. But has since had a sequel, and it's available in official English.
Yes, it
even
is,
though
but,
like the covers kind of mislead you. I don't know why the series.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because like the covers are all just like like this is like an etchy tile. Like what the hell?
Because all the covers,
it's
if you
all
look
like
them up
naked ladies on
online,
the cover.
they're not safe for work. So if you're listening to us on a bus or something, maybe don't look them up right now. But it's like it's just all the main female leads just kind of like lounging around naked for some reason. Which is weird because the series is really not etchy at all. Like I think the only times you would see boobs is like she's performing surgery on someone. So like I don't know why the covers make this look like some like weird hentai. It got me when I was 14 years old because I thought that's what the series was, and then I read the first chapter and she turns a high school girl into like a giant disgusting caterpillar girl, and I'm like, oh, maybe the boobs come next chapter. And that continued on for 40 chapters, and I just wound up getting not mildly, very disturbed with nary a boob in sight. So maybe that's the marketing tactic.
I like come for the boobs, stay for the horror. Yeah.
I was at that time my goal was just the boobs. I didn't want the horror. I just kept on reading, but I read it. I don't know when I was at that stage when I was 14 where I was like in the honeymoon phase where if you just put a manga or anime in front of me, I'll just read or watch the whole thing.
Okay.
I was at a phase like you put a manga in front of me, I'm gonna read that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how that was. Even though again, I was very early into me reading manga. I'm like Frankenfran.
Okay, I'm gonna throw some manga titles at you, and I want to know what your thoughts are on those, just to get a quick fire thing. Okay.
All right.
They're like some are like full on horror, some are like a kind of tangentially related. Okay. All right. First one, High Rise Invasion.
I have not seen that one yet. I was curious about the Netflix anime. I was actually about to watch it because I wanted to make a video talking about all the Netflix anime, and then I realized that'd be a very annoying task, so I just never did.
Okay. Interesting. Happy Sugar Life.
Is that the one with like the yandere?
Yeah, that's why I know about it.
Oh, okay. I think I watched 3 episodes of that.
Okay. So
and that was it.
That was it. All right, fine.
Did you watch it?
No, I haven't. I want to read the manga and watch the show, but like I haven't.
Oh, okay. I thought you had at least.
Magical Girl Sight and Magical Girl Apocalypse.
See, there's this brief period of time where there was a bunch of these dark magical girl animes.
Yeah, because of Madoka Magica, probably.
I know I saw one of them, but between the two you just mentioned, I don't know which one was which. The one I watched had like, there's like, it didn't really play with the concept that well, but like one of the magical girls was actually a guy who was into magical girls and gets invited to the app where he can actually live his dreams as a magical girl. But it turns out, oh, I'm in this fucked up situation.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure between those two which one it was.
Dragonhead.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So, all right.
I feel like I've heard of it, but then there's also another thing called Chaos Head. So I'm not sure, but I have not experienced either or.
All right. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was expecting you to be like Chainsaw Man.
I mean, there's others. I mean, okay, there's this series of like manga horror stories, and they all have like these rabbit heads, but they all have different names. Doubt, Secret.
Yeah, I think it's called Doubt. Yeah,
Doubt. So there's others like they have multiple, but like they all have different names and shit. So I don't know what.
I always saw that at Kinokuniya when I was living in Dubai. I'd always see it because it was Doubt, so it was always right next to Doro Hidoro. Because like they went in alphabetical order, so it was like always right next to Doro Hidoro. I'm like, well, I'm here to buy Doro Hidoro. I'm not here to buy you. So move out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would like love to read also like School Live, even though I know the twist of it.
The one with the cute girls and the zombie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I watched that one. Yeah, I watched that whole anime, which I think everyone knew the twist because of the trailers.
Yeah, because like it was supposed to be like, oh, cute girls doing cute things, then zombies show up, but like apparently, like
Yeah, I feel like unless I watched that completely blind, that twist was like just not going to. I mean, it was even like with knowing it, the first episode's still pretty engaging. But I remember I enjoyed that one decently enough. I mean, it wasn't like a super memorable show to me, but like I think it's a fine enough zombie anime. We don't really have much of those. Actually, let me think. When it comes to zombie anime, we have that. Then there's High School of the Dead, obviously.
Recently, Zombucket.
Oh, yes, which I'm also watching. That one's pretty good.
I really badly want to finish. I read, I think like half of it. I didn't finish it. I Am the Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also Is This a Zombie? Which is quite a weird one.
Wait, is that the one where the guy turns into a magical girl and like has to? I saw the anime for that and I hated it. So I was like, I
saw the first season and I was pretty okay with it. Again, I was new to anime, so I'm like, oh, this is. And then I saw the second season. I'm like, okay, fuck this. And then I just never saw it again. But yeah, I just remember that it had such a weird concept. A guy gets turned into a zombie, then he turns into a magical girl with a chainsaw.
Yeah. I was just so lost on. I have no idea what's happening. Like yeah. So
then years later, we'd get Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. All right. So I've got some movie recommendations. These are again quick fire ones because I don't have much to say about them like on their own. That's when they're going to be a couple. One of them is a straight up monster movie. So I think like you might enjoy this. It's not like monster. It's more like, what if this animal attacked you?
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Crawl. There's a lot of weird like fake crocodile movies. I think trying to like ape off this, so like don't fall for those. Just watch Crawl.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a semi-recent movie, right?
Yeah, 2019. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing those trailers.
It's just like Florida gets flooded. Everybody's evacuating. This lady, and this dad gets trapped into the basement, and it gets flooded. Crocodiles. I mean, alligators at least, but they use I'm just gonna say crocodile because like that's the one I know. This crocodile comes in, and they got to survive.
Yeah, people in Florida will hate you for that
one. Yeah. So I mean, you Shane Mano, maybe for Shane it's a bit too close because you lived in Florida, and I'm pretty sure.
I think that's why I didn't see that movie because I think around that time that movie was coming out, I'm like, shit, I'm moving to Florida soon, and I didn't really want to go to Florida, but the whole family was moving. I'm like, I guess I can't afford rent in San Diego by myself, so I guess I'm coming with.
Yeah. So Crawl is really, really good. It's a fun monster movie, obviously, and it's great horror.
Was Sam Raimi attached to that one, or am I misremembering that? I feel like he was a producer.
Yes, he's a producer. He's a producer.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, he's not a director or a writer, but he's a producer. Interesting. Yeah. Good catch.
Which is always what did he really do?
But Raimi Productions, his production company. Okay, so he had a lot.
Oh, okay, that's good.
It says production company Raimi Productions. So it's like, okay, so he did quite a bit.
Okay, that's a little bit more reassuring because I remember when I was a kid, the way I found out that producers really didn't do anything is when I saw the Dragon Ball live action movie and it was produced by Stephen Chow, the guy who did Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay, he worked on that movie. Dragon Ball might be actually awesome, and it was shit. Or like Steven Spielberg produced like the Transformer, the early Michael Bay Transformers. So I'm like, okay. Like as a kid, that's how I realized. Well, I'm an adult telling me, I'm like, okay, the producers just put money in.
Yeah, they just the money and like maybe they have some say, but not as much. So yeah, there's Crawl, really good movie, and you care about the characters. Like you actually feel connections between the father and the daughter, and sort of like you care about like their struggle and stuff. It's not just I want to see the fucking alligator. Right? So like you care about their survival. So like that's one good movie.
Is the gator all CG or is he actually practical?
I think it's CG. I don't remember it being practical. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but like I think it is mostly CG. But like it's covered in like water and darkness, so like
man.
It's not Toku. This is Hollywood.
Get a man in a gator suit.
This is not everything is Toku, okay?
Bro, like, Jaws was a practical thing.
Because it's old, right? They didn't have CGI back then.
Yeah, but like Jaws would not be memorable if he was CG back then. Especially back then.
Listen, I think the Meg movies are just as good as Jaws.
Okay, buddy. Did you see the sequel?
I'm kidding. Before you start typing, I'm kidding. Jeez.
I only saw the first one. The second one, I'm like, oh, it has dinosaurs though. But
wait, okay. I've heard that the Meg only comes out at the end. Is that true?
Oh, okay, fuck. I don't know. I haven't seen the second one. I was tempted to because I saw dinosaurs in the trailer. And like it looked like there was going to be more animals. But before this podcast started, Hamza informed me that this is the Meg is a novel series with like, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 novels out currently, with another one currently on its way, plus a crossover novel with like the Loch Ness Monster.
Wait, crossover? So meaning like the Loch Ness Monster has its own book series?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, so even novels do this. I thought it was only a comic book thing. Okay.
I guess in pulpy novels, but like, and like the sequel, Meg 2, The Trench, is also based off the same book, The Trench. So I guess if we get a Meg 3, it's going to be called Primal Waters. Then we're going to get Hell's Aquarium, Night Stalkers, Generations, and then Purgatory.
What is Origins?
I have no idea.
The origin of the Megalodon?
So who knows? Maybe this book franchise will be kind of like what the Jurassic Park franchise should have done, and we start getting like shark people.
Why do you want animal-human hybrids? What is...
I just think it's neat. That's all.
You should... What's that?
Because I love because I always love the fact that like a mad scientist is like, this shark is amazing. I'm going to inject its genes into myself. Like, that's like the solution to it. Like even like with Spider-Man Lizard, it's like, oh, lizards could like respawn their body parts. I'm just going to inject lizard DNA into myself. I'm like, dude, you're a scientist. That's not how it works.
Oh God! I mean, he found out it doesn't work. So.
I mean, he turned into a giant lizard man, but yeah.
There has to be like something out there for you that like scratches this itch of yours of just seeing like hybrids and stuff. There has. I'm always
teased. I always see dinosaur people, but I don't see the evolution of the dinosaur people. I mean, I guess Get a Robo kind of has it. Like, I'm not sure where you left off because I remember you were reading Get a Robo.
Yes,
yes. You left off before it got like really good.
Yeah, I know. I need to go back to that and read it. It was
because there are dinosaur people in Get a Robo, and like the further we go, we actually see like dinosaur people and human hybrids. But the thing is, they're already dinosaur people. So I want to see the origins of the dinosaur people. I want to see the T-Rex gain sentience, start growing some arms, and being like, let me build machines to ruin humanity.
You should read Super Dinosaur. It's a comic book.
that the one with like the T? Oh yeah, like Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, Robert
did that
Kirkman
one.
did that.
Yeah, I remember. I always saw that like when I would go to the comic section at a bookstore.
Mhm.
It was always staring at me, and I'm like, I'm here for Saga. So yeah, just like I don't know. Every time I see these kind of like comics and everything, or like things that seem interesting, they're always in the section of like me on my way to get something I actually want, and then I'm like, oh. Actually, I remember that's how I came across like certain comics I later read when I was getting more into comics. Because I remember when I was younger, I'd always pass by Hack Slash, which I guess is also, I guess, a comic recommendation for Halloween horror.
Yeah.
I would always walk past that, but again, as a younger teenage boy, you see those covers for Hack Slash, and you're like, oh. It's not. I mean, it's a bit like explicit, but not much as the covers would make it seem. But yeah, it's a slightly fun horror series of like a girl and her kind of mutant sidekick that like hunt down like slasher movie characters in a sense. I mean, they do have a lot of crossovers with other slashers. Like there's a canon Chucky crossover, and then they also fight the Reanimator, and then other like obscure indie horror comics like Evil Ernie and like Scarecrow Jack or something like that. I forgot. It's like some pumpkin
Evil
man.
Ernie's a comic book character.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Interesting.
From like the 80s or something, which is like a weird name, but
interesting. Yeah. Okay. So like that. So Crawl is one movie that I recommend. Fun alligator movie.
It's funny how we went. I just realized you're supposed to do rapid shots, and we completely got sidelined.
The tangents is just part of our dialogue. That's how that's how we bond.
We're real humans. We're not AI.
Okay. Has there been AI horror movie yet? Oh, Terminator. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a horror movie made by AI. Like,
no. I was like, I just answered my own question. Never mind.
I'd argue any movie with an AI villain's a horror movie because AI.
Kamen Rider Zero One's a horror movie. Horror series, my bad.
Fuck AI.
Okay, so this one now. Listen, if there's anybody listening to this that has been the victim of sexual assault and abuse, you might not want to watch this one, or like watch it with caution. All right. I'm just giving you that disclaimer. It's called The Invisible Man. It's a remake of the classic one. It was made in 2020, and the premise of it is that there's this woman whose abuser is rich and funds and makes a suit that makes him invisible, and he is now, obviously hunting and torturing the victim that the woman that got away, and is like doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. So that's where the main horror of the movie comes from. Like, what if your abuser was able to become invisible? Like, you wouldn't, like, in your house where you think you're safe, he might be there and you have no idea. So
yeah, I remember seeing those trailers. Was that also supposed to be like part of the dark universe they were going for?
I'm not sure. So I think it was maybe at some point, but then they scrapped that, but they kept the idea. But it's like, well, just make standalone whatever horror movies. There's no Dark Universe logo on it anywhere. So I guess it's just like they like kept the idea, like, okay, we'll just remake these classic movies, but like we'll not try to do the whole cinematic universe thing.
Okay, that's. Yeah. I mean, I guess a movie like that wouldn't really fit in with like Tom Cruise Mummy or Dracula Untold.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, just one second. Hello. Goddamn fucking telemarketers.
Never fails.
Yeah. All right. So those are my two recommendations. The Invisible Man. Again, really good horror. One good action scene with like an invisible guy just fighting dudes. So like.
Oh, okay.
So like really creative. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I was not expecting that. It was like very like, okay, cool. So yeah.
Unfortunately for me, when it comes to invisible people, like I know the Invisible Man came first, but my mind always goes to like hentai because that's like a whole subgenre.
Why? I didn't know that. Now I know.
Yeah, there's just
What? No.
which is like just dudes turning invisible. But I'm like, it's kind of disturbing when you think about it because it's just like, yeah, just being a creep invisible.
Why you do this? Well, Shaheen, no.
What do you mean? Why I didn't make it?
But like, I could have. I was very innocent about this. Now I know it's like not.
Listen, you watch horror movies, so
Not though. God damn it! Great. Now I know like this exists. Okay, great.
I should come up with like some hentai facts to come to the
No,
podcast. Like, hey,
no, we're not. I will start protesting you.
I will leave.
I will leave. Exactly. Yes.
It'll just be the solo punch cast, just one fist instead of two. I guess, yeah, I'm like fist one and you're fist two.
Exactly. So like, you will never like you won't have that intro anymore of like
Oh yeah, like I'm this to Falcon's that.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
My favorite part of the podcast.
Yeah. I like how you didn't pick up on that. I made you the woman at the beginning.
Dude, I didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about. I'm like, my dude just said things. Like,
I am running out of duos. Like, I don't know how many more I can do. Like,
I'm pretty sure, like, for next one, for like something that's spooky, you could be like,
I already did Renfield and Dracula. I'm pretty sure, so that's I can't.
Did
use
you?
That again. Yes, I did. I don't know why. I don't
remember that one. Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah,
I think you could be like you're the Igor to my Dr. Frankenstein.
Well, I mean, you said it now, so like I can't just.
I mean, like, yeah, but like this is towards the end of the podcast. We probably lost a couple listeners along the way.
Don't say that to people.
Dude, this is just based off like me looking at analytics, not only for my own podcast but other people's podcasts.
So if you're here,
I know there's going to be a couple people that either have dropped off or they're watching us in chunks. So like, yeah.
All right. Well, we love you, whoever's listening. If you made it this far, awesome. You're the G.
Leave a comment, leave a review, give us 5 stars, recommend us to your friends. Apparently, if we get 5-star reviews, Apple will start recommending our podcast more.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, because I didn't know about that. I'm listening to a lot of podcasts. They're like, oh, hey, please give us 5 stars. Because like then when you type in like whatever the genre of podcast they're on, they're more likely to be on top. So since we talk about anime, there's like there's dozens of anime podcasters, but we're unique because we're not like the others.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to recommendations. What you got?
Right.
Throw it at me. Give it to me. Give it.
All right. So we got a couple more mangas. We got well, I mean, I've talked about it, but like this manga needs more love. Like I know it does really well in Japan, but the fact that every time a new chapter comes out, it doesn't have the same amount of hype as like when a new Chainsaw Man chapter comes out, kind of bothers me. But it's Don.
Really? I thought it's like gone viral.
Yeah, like it has, but like for some weird reason, I like even before Chainsaw Man got an anime, there's people making memes. There was like people proclaiming it to be one of the greatest mangas ever. People making like fan games, and then when it got the anime, like now every time a Chainsaw Man chapter drops, it's trending on Twitter. Whereas with Don
doesn't happen. Yeah.
Nothing. I have not seen a fan game. I don't see that many people talking about it online. A chapter could drop and it could just be the most amazing alien invasion you've ever seen in your life. And
do you think the name has something to do with it? Like Chainsaw Man is like very straightforward superhero like name. So like maybe that has to like what the fuck is a Don? Like,
well, see, like Jujutsu Kaisen does well, and they like.
Right, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And to like a non-Japanese speaker, it's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Because I think properly in English, it's like sorcerer or something. But like, you say that when trying to explain. Yeah, people are gonna be like, fuck. It's weird how names work like that. Because like Demon Slayer is Kimetsu no Yaiba, but if I came up to you and like, hey buddy, did you see the newest Kimetsu no Yaiba? You're gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong?
Yeah, but it's called like Demon Slayer subtitle Kimetsu no Yaiba over here.
True. I don't know. It's just always
Yeah.
funny how, like, here, because there's some people that are still very adamant. It's like, I'm reading Boku no Hero Academia. It's like, my dude, just say My Hero Academia. Come on, let it go. The ambassador of Japan's not going to give you a hand job for being like Boku no Hero Academia. Anyway, so yeah, Dawn to Dawn, great series. It core, like, super fast summary. A nerd who's into aliens and UFOs meets up with a high school delinquent girl who's more into ghosts and spirits and psychic mediums. They have a bet with each other to prove each other wrong on what they're into. So the guy who's into aliens goes off to a tunnel to meet a ghost, and the girl who's into spirits goes off to a building to see a UFO. And on that day, they both see ghosts and UFOs, and craziness ensues. And they start getting themselves involved in a lot of supernatural and paranormal battles throughout.
Yeah, I need to check this out. I've heard nonstop good things about this, and it's gonna be the next big thing. Obviously, yeah. Like,
it
once
really
gets an
is, because, like,
anime.
in Japan, it's doing fantastic. It just, like, it bothers me that's not, like, I don't see that reciprocated over here.
Mm.
It's like it's weird, because I'm like, this, like, I get it. It doesn't have the anime yet, but, like, I feel like now we're in the generation where manga could generate the hype just as well as the anime. We're not living in those days where, like, oh, if you don't have an anime, fuck you.
You don't have an anime phone. Yeah. So, like, yeah, it's gonna be the next big thing. I am excited to see how big it gets, because I think it's just like, I think Chainsaw Man is clearly the big thing right now. So, like, this will be then, like, when Chainsaw Man, I guess, I don't know, the hype dies down. Like, I mean, the hype is down right now because there's no anime right now. But, like,
Nah, man, those chapters are constantly trending
really?
on Twitter.
Okay, then
Every chapter. Plus, I mean, Chainsaw Man's like one of those series where, like, every time I finish reading a chapter, I just want to, like, take a couple minutes to be like, peak. Just like,
this is what peak storytelling.
yeah. I bend on the floor like, damn you, Fujimoto, another banger this week.
See, even you'd call him, like, fuck you. Like I do Ari Aster, yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I haven't loved a manga this much since Dorohedoro. So it's good to have something like, yeah, it's good to have, for me, it's good to have something like that I'm reading that's ongoing, because obviously Dorohedoro is, like, no longer ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then I pre-ordered the Chainsaw Man box set, which should be coming soon, so I can't wait for that.
You pre-ordered? I thought it was, like, out already.
No, the box set doesn't come out till, like, close to my birthday, so I get it, like, a day before my birthday. Because ever since I got a job, I'm like, I have money. I could buy myself birthday presents. Fuck yeah. So
that sounds kind of sad. Okay.
No, listen, it's my money, and I get this. I normally don't, like, I like limiting how much I spend.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's my birthday. I could splurge a little.
Let me splurge.
Yeah, instead of getting one video game, 2 video games.
What's that thing in Parks and Rec? Treat yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. It's my birthday.
You have no idea what reference I'm making.
I've heard of it, and I
you've
know
heard
that
of it.
show.
Okay, all right.
But for some reason, I confuse that with Community a lot.
It's not the same thing.
Which one has Donald Glover in it?
Community.
Okay. Which one did you make the reference to?
Parks and Rec.
Okay, I was going to say I was correct. Damn it! I don't know why those shows, like, blend in my head. I know they're different, but for some reason I'm like, yeah, those sound the same. Parks and Rec, Community. A community is in a park.
Like, to Shaheen, like, all TV shows look the same to me.
All normie shows look the same.
The same to me. Oh my god! Yeah, I like it. Just.
Dude, I'm serious. The only normal TV show I'm watching right now is What We Do in the Shadows, which, again, Halloween recommendation right there. Amazing comedy about, like, a bunch of vampires living in Staten Island. Fantastic, one of my
Yeah,
favorite
again,
shows.
has the Halloween vibes, but not scary at all.
And it's 30 minutes an episode.
Oh, that's the big selling point for you.
I'm like, fuck yeah, it's not an hour long for an episode. I can just watch it and go about my business.
People, he hasn't seen the new Gamera series because it's 40 minutes each episode.
Okay, no, it's not because of that. It's because I don't have a Netflix account right now.
Oh, okay. Just pirate it, man.
See, the thing is, I have a TV now, and now I'm kind of like, I just want to watch everything on my TV.
Oh, okay. So this is your guided view.
Yeah, see, the way you are a guided view. See, right now it's like if I can't experience it through my phone or TV, I kind of don't want it, which is kind of hard for me, someone that likes classic media, because a lot of that I ain't seeing on the TV without me hooking up an HDMI cable to my computer.
Okay.
But I can't do that because I have a bird, and so when she's out, she's going to try nibbling all over the HDMI cable. So I'm like, guess that's not happening.
Man, this is real first world problems, guy.
I'm not complaining. I'm still living. I'm still happy. Treating myself on my birthday. I'm gonna get some Chainsaw Man. Maybe get a massage. Man, shit.
I like how you were mentioning all this in the spooky episode.
Chainsaw Man's kind of spooky.
True.
And the most spookiest thing is to not treat yourself.
Oh, right. Yeah, that. Oh, damn. Spitting facts over here. Yeah.
Dude, exactly.
Yeah.
Brought to you by BetterHelp.com. Ad break.
All the sponsors out of all the companies you could have picked, you picked the most controversial.
The thing is, despite them being known as controversial, I'll listen to a lot of podcasts.
But still be sponsored by them. Yeah.
BetterHelp is always there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get off this train. Let's go back to the recommendations.
The most spookiest thing of them all, ads.
I thought you were going to say capitalism.
I mean, I guess it's it's part of it. It's like the spin-off of capitalism.
It's part of it. It's symptom of capitalism.
Yeah. Oh gosh, those ads. I'm just remembering there was an angry video game nerd episode or video, and he was sponsored by Soylent, and everyone's like, "No, James, no."
What is soy?
It's like some soy drink that everyone usually makes fun of people for.
Oh,
but, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure James doesn't know who these people are. He's just I'm surprised he's still on YouTube. Now he's just he's kind of like the grandpa of YouTube.
Yeah, angry video game nerd, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. What is he? Is he still making videos on that channel or no?
Yeah, he does, but a lot of controversy there. There's a whole iceberg and messed up. I'm just there for James. I don't care about anything else.
All right, forget I asked. Let's go back to recommendations. Trying to keep this
most spookiest thing.
trying to keep this
Listen, if you twist things around enough, you could make them spooky.
Oh god. Okay, like a roller coaster. All right.
Yeah, you twist the roller coaster around enough, it becomes pretty damn spooky.
All right. What's the mangas you're recommending, my man?
Okay, so after Dawn to Dawn, the last one I have is we're back to kitty horror. Listen, I recommended enough adult big boy pants manga.
That sounded so wrong. Here's kitty manga.
So this one is done by the great Akira Toriyama. He has a manga series called Kowa. You could actually, this one's available on the Jump app. That's how I read it. But it's a short little series he did. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but I think it's 6 to 10. I was going to say issues, chapters. Been reading a lot of comics this week. Is this the one
with the little vampire baby?
Yeah, so it's just this little vampire baby who turns into a koala because he's also part werewolf.
Okay, Kitaro, I understand. This is just a children's manga.
Listen, that's why I said it was a kiddie manga.
I know, but how? This is not even.
It's for all ages.
All right. Okay.
God damn it, Hamza. What if a 5-year-old listens to this podcast? And I just said, God damn it. Fuck.
Okay, Katara at least has some seriousness. Even Digimon, like this, I don't know. This looks like something you'd give to, like, I don't know, like a baby.
And that's what this manga's for. So if you know, while you're reading, Drifting Classroom or something, and you have a kid next to you, and you have a Jump account, I'm not sure if you could really share accounts. I'm not sure how that works with Jump. But you could be like, here, read some Kawa. And then that kid will look at you with respect and is like, thank you for putting some peak in my life.
All right, okay, talk about it. What's this about?
It's just, a little vampire and his ghost friend. They get into like some mischief. And then like something happens in their town. They have to go find like the thing that, will cure the town from feeling sick. So they go off on an adventure. And that's it. But, it's Akira Toriyama, so it looks great. It has lots of funny gags.
Very different art style than what I normally see from him.
Yeah, it's not like big muscly dudes. It's like more of his like kind of like early days of manga where like everything's like just really round and cute.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like his
color.
Dr. Slumberry.
Damn, that's in color. The volume I have, I'm looking at, is in color. Yeah.
Kids love color, so like there you go.
They have the audacity to call each chapter Fright 1, Fright 2, Fright 3.
Listen, it's like it's the spooky atmosphere. Like, ooh.
Oh, okay. One chapter's in color, the other chapters are in black and white. Okay, I see. All right.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I think I remember reading it in black and white. I just wasn't sure if you were looking at something else. But yeah. So there you go. That's all my manga. I guess I have a couple comics, but like not. I really wanted to read a lot of horror comics because I wanted to make a horror comic video.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I guess I might as well give a channel update here. Remember I said I really wanted to do that fantasy video, but like I was rushing because the anime's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna make that deadline. So that fantasy video just not gonna happen.
I mean, you could still make it. Like, it doesn't have to come.
Dude, I can't talk about that elf manga of Freyren if the anime is already out. It's just gonna feel weird.
All right,
it's not underrated anymore.
It's just rated. What if it comes out and it flops?
Bro, Madhouse made it a 2-hour long episode for this. If it flops, that would be the most hilariously sad thing ever.
All right, okay. I mean, those are your rules, so.
Yeah. I mean, the other manga I was going to talk about, I could probably talk about in other videos, but I'm just going to focus on my Yu-Gi-Oh video. I
mean, you could do the fantasy one, but just remove the elf manga from it.
But then I only have 4 manga to talk about. It's not good unless I have 5.
Okay.
And then I have to read a whole new fantasy manga for that.
That's what I was going to recommend.
Read a whole. Yeah, and plus one of them I'm not even fully up to date with, so then I had to start speed rushing that because I had very poor planning on my end. Because someone had to introduce me to comics, and now I have to be like, "What's Batman doing?" But
don't blame me for this. I do blame you for Toku, so like, never mind. It's fair.
Listen, Falcon Punchers, there's a lack of production in my channel. Blame Hamza.
Oh, because I recommended I taught you how to read Batman. That's why.
He introduced me to comics. Now there's another thing I have to read and obsess over.
I mean, you introduced me to Toku, so it's fair. I just don't have a YouTube channel to complain about.
Exactly. You don't have videos to make. That Yu-Gi-Oh video, I said I was going to make like a year ago.
Oh. I mean,
that's why
you had a year. Like, that's all I follow. You had a fucking year.
Listen. Okay, that one I won't blame you, but that's also why the fantasy video is not happening. I'm like, you know what? You deserve some love. Some cards, some friendship, some cool ass monsters.
Mm-hmm.
It's also kind of fantasy-esque.
Yeah, I would count it as in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there we go, Yu-Gi-Oh! Then after that, I'll finally make my comics book video. Well, I'll explain and be like, hey. You reading manga, you could be reading a comic book and enjoy both. It doesn't have to be a war. You could just love both. They're both in the medium of comic book storytelling. Love both, please. You don't have to argue on Twitter. If you have a Vinland Saga avatar and I see you mocking Jack Kirby, I will find you.
I was waiting for that. Like, how is he gonna? He's gonna bring up either Vinland Saga or Vagabond any minute. And I was waiting for it.
See, like Vagabond, the fans have been quiet. The only weird thing is, I'll like sometimes like when I'm reading manga or comics, I like putting on some background music. But when I'm going through Jump, I don't like constantly switching the vibe of the music. So I'm like, I wonder if I put in like manga reading music, if a playlist will come out. Sure enough, it did.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, manga playlists, like manga reading music playlists, are always like if you type it on YouTube, it's always Vagabond, like as the cover. But when you listen to the music, it's like lo-fi or like Dujabes, like Samurai Champloo music. So I'm like, why don't you just put Mugen from Samurai Champloo in instead of the Musashi from Vagabond? But I guess, you know, when you're going through that lo-fi aesthetic, I guess Vagabond fits it somehow, despite it, like, Samurai Champloo's like right there. But yeah, so like the Vagabond fans haven't been as bad as the Vinland Saga fans, but I do want to give that a chance at some point, because I know it's good. I've heard a lot of people say it's good. It's just those fans, man, they just say some shit. But you know, one of them has kind of repented to me personally.
Oh, really?
My brother.
Okay, I thought it was someone online. Okay.
No.
What did he say? What did he say?
Well, no, see, he still likes Vinland Saga. I mean, he's more of an anime-only watcher.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised, because I knew season 2 was kind of like the farm arc, and I'm like, okay, is he still going to like this? Because, like, I know he was more into it for, like, the Viking action, but he still liked it. So I'm like, okay, good. He can still appreciate that. But he used to always make fun of me watching One Piece.
Yeah, I know.
The One Piece live action's out. I still have not seen it. And I know Hamza's never going to see it. You could strap him to a chair and he still won't see it. He's very against it.
Yeah.
He sent death threats to Netflix.
I did not do that.
I'm just joking.
That I did not do.
No. So, yeah. So I haven't seen it yet, but he saw the whole live action. He loved it. He recommended my brother to watch it. He loved it. He wanted to show my mom. That hasn't happened yet. But
okay.
I came downstairs like a week ago to find him watching the actual One Piece on Netflix. And I was like, holy shit, he's actually watching Netflix. He's like, yeah. So there's that. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, bro, for pushing you Vinland Saga. Like, it's all right. I'm still not reading it. Maybe sometime soon. But, you know, now he repented. He's on the grand adventure that is One Piece. So, you know, the One Piece is real.
Interesting. He saw the live action or no? Just
No, yeah, that's how he started. He
that's how he
saw
started.
the live action, was blown away by it somehow. And then now is like, yeah, I'm going to experience the anime.
I mean, that's good. I like, again, even though I'm against it, because I don't believe in the idea of like, in order to make it real, it's got to be live action. Like, you know, the anime and manga are just as valid. I am happy because from the overall vibes, everybody seems like this is a very faithful adaptation. It's not a Cowboy Bebop. It's good. It's a good show, and it's bringing people to the manga or the anime. So I'm like, you know what? It's the best situation I could have hoped for, and I'm glad it's happening that way. Yeah. Still not gonna watch it. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's good, even though I don't like that it's doing like live action anime erasure, because now everyone's like, One Piece broke the curse, anime live action's now good. I'm like, we had Speed Racer, Guyver, Battle Angel, Alita, Cutie Honey, I guess in a sense Kamen Rider,
Edge of Tomorrow
yeah, Old Boy,
Old Boy too, yeah, true, yeah,
Rikio, yeah, there's a long list of
Dragon Ball Evolution, yeah.
Lady Snowblood. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution. Peak cinema right there.
It's the one that got you into Dragon Ball. So, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, really, honestly, without Dragon Ball. See, I guess in a way, the way my brother approached One Piece is the way I got into Dragon Ball and really anime as a whole. Because I remember that movie. But see, that was my brother, because he legitimately enjoyed the movie for me with Dragon Ball was because it was more out of spite, which
True.
I'm slowly starting to realize is a thing with me. I will avoid a series out of spite, and I will read a series out of spite.
Yeah.
Like,
So for those who don't know, so like, there's this writer in comic books called Tom King that's very controversial. You either love him or hate him. Straczyn has read some series by him, even me. And everything we've read so far, we've liked. We've not read something that's like really, really bad. But like, he does get a reputation for like, writing stuff that people don't like. So out of spite, she's like, I'm just going to read his Batman run, which is like considered one of like the lesser Batman runs. And he's like, I'm just going to read it just to like spite the people that fuck on Tom King.
Well, see, I haven't gone to the Batman yet. I'm reading a lot of his other miniseries, which some people say he's probably best in a miniseries, but Superman Up and Away, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, Gotham City Year One, all peak. Those are all good. Fantastic. If you haven't read it's not a Halloween recommendation, just a general like comic book recommendation. All those good. If you're not used to reading comics, they're like, 6 to 8 issues each. Don't really require much like previous knowledge on the characters. You just go ahead, read them, enjoy them. All fantastic reads that I would highly, highly, highly recommend. But yeah, so far Tom King really hasn't been missing for me. I mean, I guess when it comes to ongoing superhero, like being the head writer of an ongoing title, I guess that's just always hard because at least from what I've gathered, no one really ever seems to be happy in those situations. At least for the big popular superheroes.
Yeah. Although that is a story for another time.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a whole different podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole different podcast. Yeah. So I'm going to recommend 2 movies now. All right. So one of them, this one's a bit more well known, especially over the years now, and it is one of my favorite horror movies of all time because it's so goddamn fucking claustrophobic, and it's a situation I never in a million years want to be in. It's called The Descent. It's about a group of girls that go cave exploring. This is a thing that people do. I do not understand why they do this, but these...
Yeah, that, and then like the urban exploration, I never understood that. I'm like, that's just asking for it.
Yeah. So these girls, they go into a cave, shit goes wrong, they get lost in the cave, and now they gotta find their way out. But there's these like creatures in the cave that mankind has not touched or discovered.
Dinosaur people?
No, they're not dinosaurs. It is weird. Actually, I don't want to tell you. Just watch the movie and see for yourself what they look like or what they are.
Okay.
And so like they're there and they got to survive, and these creatures that like they thought they were alone in the cave, but now they know that something else is there. Ooh. And so it's really fun, awesome scares, awesome kills, and like again, there's just such tight, dark spaces, and like it's so cool. They're being picked off by these monsters that are blind. They can't see them, but they can hear them. So you got a lot of like interesting tension scenes where like trying to get around these monsters, but like trying to make as least noise as possible. So yeah, The Descent, awesome movie, great way. Now, this other one is which one should I do? Actually, it's called The Witch. Again, a little bit better known. It came out in 2015.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes place in like Victorian England, I guess. There's this family that's been like exiled, and they live on this like farm away, like isolated and stuff. Right? They live right next to the woods, and the woods has a witch in it. And I know it's called The Witch, but it's kind of false advertising, to be honest. It's not really about the witch. The witch is there to start something, but the horror comes from something else. So the witch ends up grabbing like the son of this family, and the parents end up blaming the sister. And so the true horror comes from the idea that like your parents not believing you and actually going against you. Like, that's where the main horror of this series comes. The witch is barely in it, to be honest. It's just the beginning at the end. The whole middle is just this complete family breakdown because, like, obviously they're, like, the loss of their son has like affected them, and they're also like blaming the daughter, and the daughter is just like, my own family's against me. And so there's a whole complete like family breakdown, and again the idea like, what if your family was against you? They didn't trust you, they were paranoid about you, they blamed you, and so like you don't feel that love anymore from your family. So like that's where the horror comes from. So that's what it's really about. If you're watching it, like, I'm going to see some witch action. Ooga booga booga booga. I know it's on there.
That's me when I see a witch. I go ooga booga booga.
Yeah, that's like you don't expect that. Like it's like the witch just like starts shit, and that's it. Like it's just there to like give the inciting incident to like, okay, why does this family like not trust each other and hate each other? That's all it does. That's all it's there for. But it's not about that. Yeah. It's like, yes. So The Witch and The Descent, awesome horror movies. If you've not seen them, please do. You're going to get some really good horror.
All right. Yeah, I think it's definitely one I've heard about, The Witch. But a lot of these are more recent. I thought you were going to be like, here's something from the 80s.
No. It's just, I mean, I think I've seen more recent horror than classic. So like, that's what I'm going with. And also like, if it's old, it's probably a classic and well known anyway. So
there's always those like underrated classics.
Yeah, there are. Like I mean, I could have mentioned Evil Dead, but I'm like, nah.
I don't know, but
yeah,
I think everyone knows about Evil Dead.
Yeah, true. I think everybody does know about Evil Dead. Yeah. Although the new movie Evil Dead Rise, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't want to see that one in theaters, because I do like Evil Dead, but like,
but it's not a comedy.
That one I did see though. I think what stopped me is because the trailers kept on showing that like cheese grater thing, and I'm like, I do not want to see that.
Ooh, yeah.
And it wasn't even as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Actually, I enjoyed the film. I was pretty okay with it. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now, canonically, there are 3 Evil Dead books. So interesting.
Books or
like
movie?
The Necronomicon, like the Demonata, whatever that thing that like everything comes from. Yeah.
Evil Dead. Yeah, that's had a resurgence because like there was that, and there's the video game. I think the comics have been going for a while.
Yeah, there's also the TV show that I also really liked, Ash vs. Evil Dead. That was really good.
I watched the first season, yeah, and then I was going to watch the second season. It's like, oh, it's canceled. I'm like, oh, I guess I won't watch the second season.
Yeah, so but like it really is a really good franchise. Like you're not gonna. So the first movie is just straight up indie horror. Second one and the third one is like more comedy horror. And the TV show definitely dives into like the more comedy horror aspect, Ash vs. Evil Dead. But the remake, which I avoided for the longest time because this is going to be one of those like remakes that sucks. But actually, no, it is really good. The Evil Dead 2013 remake is actually really, really good. And it's like, apparently it's like what Sam Raimi, if he had the money and the budget and the skill like to make up a straight up Evil Dead horror movie, that would be it. Like that would be what Evil Dead would look like. So like, oh, okay, so that's interesting. Like that was an interesting way for me to like look at it and see it, and it is very, very good. Then you have Evil Dead Rise, also really, really good. Just a fun horror movie, beautiful looking horror movie. And yeah, like I guess I think that's all of it. Yeah, there's going to be more. They said they're going to make more Evil Dead stuff and like expand the universe a bit. Yeah.
All right, that's good. Mm-hmm. I think Bruce Campbell said he's kind of done with acting, so I'm not sure if he'll ever come back as Ash.
He had a voice cameo in the latest movie. Yeah, like a kid finds a recording about the book, and he's like, it's a bunch of priests arguing about it, like they should bury it, burn it, and that stuff, and then like, you hear Ash's voice come through, like it's called the Book of the Dead for a reason. And apparently, like Sam Raimi explained that, like because like in Army of Darkness, Ash time travels, so like it's like it's a time displaced Ash, like screaming that into the recording. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, cool. Yeah, because there is quite a bit of lore building throughout the series. So like, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. It seems like a lot of horror movies have been kind of like coming out of the woodworks with like these games.
Though, I mean, horror is one of those things that like it's I don't think it'll ever go away because you can easily make a good horror movie on a low budget. It's not like a superhero movie where it's like it needs to make $1 billion and it needs to cost like 200, 300. Like, no, you can make something on a $5 million or a $10 million or a $20 million budget.
See, if America embraced tokusatsu, we could.
We could.
Just get a guy in a costume, go to like a mountain range, and just make him do some sick kicks and some explosions.
I wonder, like, if, like, the comic book fans that we have now, or like the MCU fans, that if we showed them Toku, like, hey, whether you like it or not, watch a whole like Kamen Rider season, right? Like, how would they react? Like, or an Ultraman season or a Sentai season, or maybe not Sentai because they've seen Power Rangers, but like like either a Kamen Rider or a Ultraman like season. Like, how would they react?
I mean, it'll probably look better than Secret Invasion. Dude, it bothered me how much like green screen was actually that in that show. Like, Nick Fury wasn't even holding a real gun in one scene. It was green screen. Anytime they're in a hotel, they're not in an actual hotel. It's green screen. I'm like,
can't they afford?
I don't know, because like, I'm pretty sure a lot of these actors, like the returning ones, that were like so locked down by this contract. Like, I'm pretty sure Samuel Jackson doesn't want to be there anymore. I'm pretty sure he's done with all this Marvel nonsense.
That's why I've been advocating, like, make it animated. You can, like, I don't know if this never happens, but like if a voice actor, I don't know, gets too big, just get another voice actor, but you can still have the same character model. Like it's...
Yeah, because I feel voice actors are more willing to stick around. I mean, Tom Kenny is still SpongeBob.
Peter Cullen at 80 years old still voices Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Like, what? That blew my mind. Like, I'm like, you're still doing the voice.
Yeah, even like Frank Welker's like still Scooby-Doo.
Okay, I know him as Megatron. So like, he just brought out Scooby-Doo. I am sure, like, if you made a, Superman animated series with Lex Luthor, if you could get Clancy Brown back, he would do Lex Luthor again.
Every time I see a DC animated thing and it's not Clancy Brown as Lex, I'm just like, no.
I recently watched the Batman TMNT, Batman versus TMNT animated movie. Very good, awesome movie. Please watch it. Batman and Shredder have two awesome fights. It's amazing. Leonardo fights Ra's al Ghul. Oh my god, just so much good stuff in it. Troy Baker voices both Batman and Joker in the movie.
Oh yeah, because he does that in the Arkham games.
Really? I thought it was... Wait, no, I thought Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
For like the first couple, but then I think for like Arkham, like the Origin, Arkham Origin? Yeah, I think that's where...
Yeah. Then I looked into it. Apparently in the Assault on Arkham Batman movie, which is basically a Suicide Squad movie, which you should watch it. So if you want to get a good Suicide Squad movie, watch that. He voices Joker in that. Not Batman, that was somebody else, but like he definitely voices Joker. I thought it was Mark Hamill the entire time. Then I'm like, oh no, it was Troy Baker. Holy shit. God damn.
Yeah, his voice is a...
It's so close to Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. And he does both. I don't know how. Man's like a talented motherfucker. Yeah.
I mean, that's why he's practically everywhere.
Anybody that's talented, just fuck you for being talented.
Fuck all talented people. This is why AI will uprise. I just have to click a button.
Jeez.
Oh, despite my AI hatred, I did download ChatGPT into my phone one day.
Why? What'd you need it for?
I'm not sure how fucked up it'll sound if I...
Okay, I mean, you don't have to. You brought it up.
Well, now that sounds suspicious. Okay, so like this cousin I'm not that close to is his birthday. We'll see him the next day as a family.
Oh no, I think I know what this is.
Honestly, did not know what to write in the birthday card, so I typed in like ChatGPT, explain to me, like, write me a birthday card for a cousin I'm not that close with. And then I'm like, make it shorter. And it worked. I'm like, oh, okay. As long as you're a little buddy I could put in my pocket, that's good. The moment you start making things for me.
I mean, he made the birthday card for you.
Okay, listen, because I asked him to.
Oh, okay. So unless
Also,
I ask
I'm not selling this birthday card. I'm not putting this birthday card on display for people to go pay and see.
Did you feel dirty after doing it?
It was late. I was tired. I was editing another episode of the podcast.
Oh God!
Also, that cousin didn't even show up.
Oh, what? To his own birthday?
Well, we were also celebrating like my grandma's birthday. It was like 3 family members' birthdays.
Oh, okay. I mean, technically, it didn't come up for.
I didn't use ChatGPT on the other ones. So it was just
It's this cousin I have no connection with whatsoever.
I mean, I did when I was younger. It's just like we drifted apart.
Nah, yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah,
but yeah. Well, okay. I'll wrap it up with the recommendations. I was about to end it right here, but I remembered I did mention I have comic book recommendations. So
right. Yeah, true.
I don't want to leave
I'm
that
interested,
hanging.
like what you've read.
It's really not that much. We probably talked about 2 of them, and I only have 3.
Oh, okay.
So I just got to add some comics in. Like, hey, we're diverse. Oh shit! I could have done video. Okay, you know I'm not gonna go with video games. Never mind. Video games that would have been better because I know some more. Anyways, sorry guys. This is what happens when Hamza doesn't know that much Halloween stuff. So I have to, make up
bring it on me. Jeez. Okay.
Just go blame all my problems on you.
Wow.
So, comic wise, 2 of them I just recently watched, and they're Batman related. You know, Batman. You know, kind of goes well with the Halloween aesthetic. I mean, one of his most like classic stories is called Long Halloween, but that one's not really spooky. Surprisingly, which is why I think I didn't have much of a reaction to it when I first watched it or read it. I thought it was going to be a spooky story, but it was more of a crime drama. But anyway, so the 2 Batman comics are Batman Gothic and Batman the Cult.
Those 2. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't. All right. Sure.
They're scary enough. They deal with like fucked up people and individuals that like break Batman down. And Batman Gothic has a ghost.
Just know this is Shaheen's opinion alone. I do not count these as horror, but fine.
There's horror elements. Listen, like Batman the Cult.
The horror.
Listen, you know me. I'm all about the horror vibe. I'm all about vibe. I'm the vibe guy. You know, call me Mr. Falcon Vibe. If I was the superhero, I'd be the vibe. Oh wait, no, that exists already.
I like how there's actual horror comics, and I was like waiting for you to like, oh, which one's here? I don't think you talked about it. And then
Listen, I didn't have time to read that stuff this year. Maybe next year.
It's like, oh, you know, Batman cult, yeah.
Dude, it's a cult of like homeless people that kidnap Batman and drug him up and like convince him to kill people.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of scary, and you know the main bad guy bathes in blood. Ooh, scary. So that's
that'd be like, I don't know if I recommended Tremors on this podcast.
Why not? It has monsters.
Yeah, but it's not scary.
If I was scared of things popping out of the ground, I haven't seen Tremors. I'm assuming that's what happens.
You have not. That is a movie.
I will eventually.
That is a movie. It's all
Listen,
about.
You know, I don't watch that many movies. I don't know why you're surprised every time I tell you. I
don't because like you're like a monster guy. So okay, at least you've seen the monster.
It's not like I've seen every single monster movie in existence. Do you know how many there are?
5.
Okay. 5 monster movies.
I don't know, like in the modern age, I guess. I don't know. Like,
yeah, but like, you know, obviously, you know, you have like all the kaiju movies, then you have like the slasher monsters. Apparently Bigfoot has some like horror movies.
Okay. Anyways, okay, let's go back to Batman.
So then Batman Gothic, you know, Batman is dealing with like this guy that's like hunting off like mafia people and everything, and apparently he can't die, so Batman has to figure out why he can't die, and it kind of ties into his past. Bit scary. There's like some scary imagery. There's a ghost. Ooh, spooky. The serial killer is a pretty fucked up guy. Pretty scary. So yeah, there's that. And then my last horror comic. Hold up, let me pull it up. Just so I could remember if it's the right one. Or if that was the
Yeah,
only
I
two.
mean, as Shane is looking for it, I will. It's been a while since I've read Gothic. I don't remember much from it. I do remember liking it though. And then there's Cult is really good. There's some really awesome horrific images in it.
And just some
Like
cool images. I mean,
cool images like the Man Dead Monster Truck. Is just,
yeah, Batman and Robin just like go up to this cult when they're just done with them. It's like, yeah, the Bat Monster Truck. And they have like rifles and they're shooting people down, but they're tranquilizers, so it's okay.
Yeah. Also, the Robin in that is Jason Todd, not Tim Drake or Dick Grayson. So, like, just to...
Which is hilarious because Batman's like, I'm going to teach you how to shoot guns. Okay, Batman. I bet I won't have to shoot that many guns later on. Becomes the Red Hood guns. It's like, look what you did, Batman. Look what you did. Oh yeah, so I remembered. Ghost Rider, the newest series.
Okay. You know what? That I'll allow. Sure.
And this one does have a good dosage of body horror, monsters. It's a great jumping on point because it kind of explains Johnny Blaze's whole deal in like the first couple issues. But it's a great series.
Yeah, this is coming from someone who's like Shane's actually read quite a bit of Ghost Rider. So yeah, like when he says it's jumping on to point, don't question it, just like dive in. Okay.
Yeah, and then among the Ghost Rider series I haven't read like old school Ghost Rider. I tried reading Danny Catch, the 90s run, didn't really feel it. Then I read the Daniel Way and Jason Aaron run. They were all right, just had the covers were the only things I remember. And then the Garth Ennis one was just bad. Amazing art though, but it was bad. So yeah, the newest one, which is with the I think his name's Percy Jackson. Oh no, Percy
Benjamin Percy.
Yes, Percy Jackson's a guy that did Lord of the Rings, a film I haven't seen.
No.
Oh wait, no.
Percy Jackson is the character. That's
Percy Jackson is a book series that I used to love as a kid.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Peter Jackson is what you're thinking of.
Jackson, yes. Listen, it's P. Jackson, what if he did? What if Percy Jackson came to real life and he is the power of a god?
Oh, was a big Tolkien fan, even though he's Greek? Okay.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's tired of Greek mythologies. Man, fuck Greek mythology, always biting my ass. Real mythology, Tolkien.
All right. Okay, that was weird. All right. And we got that on recording as well.
See, it's a classic moment. Ooh.
I remember when I was talking Wonder Woman with Shaheen. He's like, "Yes, I too have read Percy Jackson."
Oh, yeah, because you're explaining to me like her Greek origins.
Yeah, Greek stuff. Yeah, and he's like, "Yes, I've read Percy Jackson. I know it from Percy Jackson." Even to be honest, it's the same for me. I knew nothing about Greek mythology until I read Percy Jackson. So.
Yeah, for me, it was like Percy Jackson and actually, I was going to say Hercules, but Hercules I actually didn't see it for until like a couple years ago. So yeah, it was just Percy
Hercules
Jackson.
too. That Disney animated movie, which I still like to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it for the first time a couple years ago. I thought it was pretty good. So. I don't know.
Did you know they made a Hercules TV show, like a whole cartoon series?
Wait, did you say Hulk or just Hercules?
No, Hercules.
Oh, I thought you said Hulk and Hercules. I'm like, what? I mean, I know there's a Hercules in the Marvel universe, but
yeah, there is. Yeah,
which is definitely very confusing now, considering that Disney owns Marvel.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. So, like, you were recommending? Oh, yeah, Ghost Rider. What happened to Ghost Rider?
So it starts off. It kind of recaps Johnny Blaze's like origins because, like, in the start, he just thinks he's normal, but he's like, "Why do I have like this burning sensation in my skin?" And then it turns out he was like being mind controlled to like stay in the city and not be Ghost Rider. So once he becomes a Ghost Rider, he goes off. They kind of hint at like Blackheart. but he doesn't really do much. But then we get like the new Ghost Rider villain, which was the main reason why I decided to read this run, which was Exhaust, who's like kind of like opposite Ghost Rider. He's like a fleshy skull man that's also a motorcycle, and instead of shooting fire, he shoots smoke. But he only shows up for a couple issues. But it kind of all builds up to, unfortunately, to like this X-Men crossover. There was an issue where like Ghost Rider, Wolverine, a bunch of other Marvel heroes and villains going on like this motorcycle race to get like a wish, which was metal as hell. And it was all leading up to like the Weapons of X crossover, which is like Wolverine and Ghost Rider going on an adventure, which apparently they've done in the past. I'm not that well versed in Marvel yet, so I've only heard about it, haven't read them. And, you know, that's been pretty fun, but like, you know, it's going into that good old comic book territory of like, hey, you have to read 3 different series to get this story. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's because like, I mean, it's a crossover. I mean, what else can you
it's my
expect?
first time seeing an Alpha and Omega issue.
Oh, so, they did it for
like,
this?
Make sure you read the, yeah, he's like, you have to read the Alpha. Oh, you have to read the Omega. Oh, you have to read Fall of X. I'm like, I haven't touched an X-Men book yet.
Oh god, okay.
So once again, I was reminded. I'm like, oh, comic books.
I mean, if you're reading Wolverine and Ghost Rider at the same time, this wouldn't be a problem. But like, yeah, you haven't, so like it is.
I mean, they're both written by Percy Jackson. Ben Percy, but
yeah, Ben. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll probably wrap it up there.
Yeah,
you know,
got a bunch of movies, bunch of manga, bunch of anime. You know, for the spooky Halloween season.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, I hope you experience all these series in a nice environment. You know, maybe eating some candy, slurping on some pumpkin spice, and have a great Halloween season. And we'll come back to you in the next episode. We'll be talking about some cryptids, and Hamza's just going to have an amazing time as I tell him about the Wendigo and Devil Monkey and the Flatwoods Monster. He's going to love it.
I mean, Wendigo already know. You've told me about that. I've not heard of the rest of this stuff.
Bro, I made a list. I got 4 cryptids for Canada, 4 cryptids for America.
Oh, great.
And if we get those raving reviews for that episode, we're going to do it every Halloween. I'm going to be coming in. We'll go to like different parts of the world. You know, get some like Australian cryptids, some Japanese cryptids.
I hope this manifests in some sort of TV show, movie, something, just so like, I don't know, you can be happy. Shit.
Honestly, it was kind of creepy, Hamza. The other day I was on YouTube. There's like 2 different cryptid movies coming out. There's a movie called Cryptid, and there's another movie called California Cryptids. They both look like low-budget horror movies, but they're happening. Also, there's a comic book about cryptids, than the one you showed me the other week.
Right, true. Yeah.
Which I found out Grant Morrison wrote a chapter for. He wrote an issue. Oh, yeah, he wrote an issue, which is funny because we're talking the other week. I was like, oh, are they still making comics? And they still are. Just not for DC at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. All right. See ya, people. Bye-bye.
See ya. Have a great spooky time. And then we'll insert some spooky sound effects and we'll be off.